I think you might have sound on.
Yes.
Oh, over here.
Hmm?
Yeah, there. That needs to be muted. There we go. There we go.
Okay. So now we're live and just back out of retreat for 10 days. And Aṅguttara has very kindly and wonderfully chosen and prepared a sutta for today. So I will turn it over
So we Namo Tassa.
to, yeah, we can do that together, to Aṅguttara. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Uttam dhammam sangham namasami.
So we'll share the document
You
for.
want to say anything first, or just share it right away?
I can speak what you're beginning to share.
Okay.
So we'll share the document for the sutta. Last week we had done a sutta called Elements of Escape. And I mentioned that there were 3 suttas with that name. So we're going to do another one of them today. And last week's sutta, used the Brahma Viharas, and a couple other things towards seeing what we were attending to in the mind. And this week we've got another set that overlaps a little bit with the same issues, but another set of solutions for how to escape. So it's useful to look at these various things so that if you have ill will, you have multiple ways of addressing it, for example. Anything you want to say before we start?
Yeah, I just yeah, sometimes the wording is it's hard to find the right words, and escape, yeah, to overcome or to be free from, to be released from. If like if you see the defilements as captivating you, and then you can so to be released. I like kind of released
I do too.
as a word, but the translators are doing a tremendous job, and we can refine on our own just for our own understanding, rather than really. I don't want to be critical, because I have a deep respect for Bhikkhu Bodhi, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, and for Bhante Sujato and the other translators. So they've done tremendous work. I have the ease now of the technology to see other and just from our own experience, what resonates well with us will be different for different people. So
yeah, last week we were looking at how the translators were using consolidated, and I said that word also means nurtured. And so that's an example of different tonality that may land differently for different people. And so it's nice to have a variety of ways of approaching.
and then I like also to think about the Pali language has these different nuances that a native speaker would understand,
Right.
and they may pick up the different nuances of it. And we're limited with the English translation, which may not be doing justice to what is being said. So we're doing the best we can.
Yep. So we're primarily going to use Bhikkhu Bodhi and Bhante Sujato's translations. I do put one translation by me that's a work in process, so you can see exactly kind of what we're talking about to get languaging that lands for us. Shall I begin reading?
Certainly.
Okay, starting with Bhikkhu Bodhi. Bhikkhus, there are these 5 elements of escape. What 5? Here, when a bhikkhu is attending to sensual pleasures, his mind does not launch out upon them and become placid, settled, and focused on them. But when he is attending to renunciation, his mind launches out upon it and becomes placid, settled, and focused on it. So I wanted to bring in from Bhikkhu Bodhi's notes, he will tell us what the commentary says about it. When you see this MP, that is the abbreviation for the commentary of the suttas. So this elements of escape is Nisaraniya Dhatu. And Dhatu, you may have heard before, is as elements. And Nisarana is the escape or release or relief or along those lines. And what's interesting here is that the commentary will do word association as well, and they associate with Nisaraniya Visamyutta, which is detached, disconnected. And I think that gets better to that feeling tone that you're talking about, Ayasivajana, released or
Mhm.
mhm.
It
And
sounds like we're running away, running away.
right,
Yeah,
right.
but
It's
it's
more like a no.
yeah, yeah, letting it be, yeah,
And the dhatuyo, the element part, is associated with aptasunya bhava, a nature empty of self. And I like that, and we'll see that coming up within the sutta, that, we're looking at these ways to drop this me, I am in the midst of all it that we get so tangled up in. So detaching from this selfhood.
and
Yeah,
I also wanted to, did you want,
please,
oh
please.
yeah, there's this word, um, a person here, a bhikkhu or anyone is attending to sensual pleasures.
Oh, we'll get to that in just a moment.
Okay, so that you
Scroll down just a little
okay,
bit,
scroll down.
a little
Okay,
bit more, a little bit more. There we go.
okay, so this is the so manasikara, apprehending, attending, paying attention to.
Mhm.
So I think this is important because there's different stages with this development of the mind, and to think that anyone is just born without uh the desire for sense pleasures and their attention wouldn't go to what's pleasurable. So there's a way of attending to being aware, oh, this is very pleasant.
Mhm.
Uh
And
and
the Arahant still knows Vedana.
they
No.
know, so yeah. So they but their mind does not launch out upon it. So it's this idea of grasping onto it. I mean, I can enjoy a taste,
Mhm.
or the room temperature may be just very pleasant, and I can be aware that, oh, this is very comfortable. But the attachment, the launching out upon it, grasping on it, or it's a beautiful sight, and I want
Mhm.
whatever it is. Yeah, this becoming placid, settled, focused upon, I think it's because it parallels what we should be uh, actually attending to, which is the renunciation. And that's the settling of the mind.
Yeah.
But I can also see that, oh, just being comfortable, this is what I'm used to. My mind is settled into the idea of always having the room, this temperature, or this flavors that
Mhm.
I really like, or and this is my comfort zone. And so I can see it that way as well.
Yeah, in meditation, sometimes if I'm getting a little snagged, I'll say, could this be more peaceful? And I realize, oh, it's this sense grasping that's kind of stirring things up. So what if I detach from that? It could be more peaceful. And I think this is leading us toward that. And we'll see that in these
Yeah.
different
Well,
translations
the
here.
renunciation part,
Hmm.
but when they're attending to renunciation, then you can be contented.
But first I look at, well,
Yeah.
what is it that's
Right.
agitating the mind? Oh,
Right.
this grasping, this
Right.
wanting.
So then you,
Let me do some renunciation with that. Oh, yeah, that's more peaceful. Let me get it for you.
thank you.
Yeah. So here's Bhante Sujato's translation, and then we'll look at some more of the Pali and how I came up with an alternate tentative approach to this phrase. Mendicants, there are these 5 elements of escape. What 5? Take a case where a mendicant focuses on sensual pleasures, but on that their mind does not leap forth, gain confidence, settle down, and become decided. So I'll scroll down.
That's interesting. Becoming decided.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean deciding I want that. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Really establishing and landing in it.
Yeah.
Standing in it. Okay, so here you can see that the manasikara, as we were talking about, it's this quality of paying attention to. And I think that they were using the word focus, and Bhante Sujata was, and then Bhikkhu Bodhi was saying attending to. And it's really, where are we putting our attention? And that is not positive nor negative. It's really the qualities of the attention. When it's manasikara, it's paying attention, typically in a wise way, right?
We
You
hope
know?
so. Yeah.
And
But he says it does not. So we're not folk, we're not,
well,
yeah, the action of the
uh,
mind is not going to, yeah,
manasikaroto is not negated.
yeah,
It is the other thing. Because of the manasikara, the other things are negated.
could.
That's how
It
I would
could.
say that.
Sometimes the not could includes everything.
The na comes over after the chitang, after the mind. So it's the mind that is not, right here, down.
Yeah, I know, I'm just looking
Okay.
at how they're, so the mind does not launch out upon it.
Mhm.
And so
I believe the practitioner
attending,
does have good
okay.
attending here, and that's
Oh,
why
that's
it
what this
doesn't
this
leap
is what,
out.
yeah, it's the
Right,
beeping out, but you're right. The
right.
Manasikaroto is,
Is present, and I think that's the crux of this sutta.
yeah, that they are attending to it,
Mm-hmm.
but the mind does not latch onto it. So you're aware of it.
You're aware of it. You're aware, oh, this is sense pleasure. And then we've got these sets here of these verbs, actions, pakandati, and that's that, like, getting inspired or eager by it. Oh, I've got confidence that sense pleasure is the way to go. But because there's manasikara, that's negated. And that's the one that they're saying leaps or launches. Napasidati, that doesn't gain confidence in. I like distrust. I have a distrust of sense pleasure being my source of happiness, of end ultimate good happiness, because of the manasikara. The sanchitati, that's settling down in it. Oh, I'm just gonna settle down in this really comfy sense pleasure. And it's not that it's inappropriate to, like, take a best posture that's comfortable for your meditation or that kind of thing, but it's this, I'm really attaching to it. And then the last
It
part,
has to be just right.
just
The
right.
thermostat has to be just right. The blankets have to be arranged just so the cushion is just, and then it has to stay that way.
Right, right. And that is not manasikara, where you're seeing um really, you don't get the cause and effect there in a correct way there. And I guess I'm kind of bringing a more of a yoniso manasikara effect in there. So
If the temperature is just right, then my mind will settle, right?
yeah.
No.
And then I think the most difficult of them to really get a sense of is this vimuchiti, because it's hard to say, well, sense pleasure, I'm not free. I'm not, the translation before, not decided, not, yeah, let's see, what was the one
It could
above?
be because of the parallel.
It is because of the parallel, and then there's an interesting note from Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, who sees in the commentary that it is vimucchati is associated with adimucchati, and he says this makes better sense to me, and that all of the manuscripts he looked at in the printed editions show irregular variations between these readings. So there's a little, potential corruption there. And if we look at the definition for adimucchati, that's that inclining toward, releasing on, drawn to, settling, toward. And if we settle towards sense pleasures, then we're just going to keep going in samsara.
It could have been like the muchati came from to the second part of the
Yeah, and then
and
it
then this
corrupted up to the, yeah.
so it wasn't included in the first.
Mhm. So that's why we rely on the scholars to help us to see, oh, okay, this might be what we would call in modern days a typo.
Yeah, well, they were reciting, and the memorization is through repetition,
Mhm.
and sometimes within the repetition, they could have accidentally
Right,
left out a syllable
right,
or two,
right.
a couple of syllables.
Yeah. Yep.
Because,
We do the best we can.
but they in the context of the teaching, they correct,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
to make it make sense.
Yeah. So Bhante Sujato continues, but when they focus on renunciation, on that their mind leaps forth, gains confidence, settles down, and becomes decided. So looking back at those verbs, this is my working translation. Take a case where a practitioner is aware of sensual pleasures, but their mind is not eager and distrusts sensual pleasures, doesn't establish itself in sensual pleasures, yet it is not released from sensual pleasures. And I use the repetition of the noun because it does appear in there, and the other two just left it out, and I just propagated it through all the ands to make it really clear. But when they are aware of renunciation, their mind is eager and trusts renunciation. It does not establish, it does establish in renunciation and is released in renunciation. So, does that work for you as a working translation?
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
very nice. Yeah. And you put the negation in
Mm-hmm.
the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to make it really
Yeah.
clear that the not this, not that.
I think you can be released from the sensual pleasures if you're attending wisely, you're not attached.
Right.
So it could be
Right.
either way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually, that's why it's tentative. I sent this to a Bhikkhu friend who's got more study on this, and I'd be interested in getting feedback from other monastics or other practitioners who have more Pali knowledge than I do. Do you want to say anything more about the case of sense pleasure? Or should we continue?
Well, maybe we should keep going.
All right, continuing with the sutta. Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. His mind is well departed, well developed, well emerged, well liberated, and well detached from sensual pleasures. And he is freed from those taints, distressful and feverish, that arise with sensual pleasure as condition. He does not feel that kind of feeling. This is declared to be the escape from sensual pleasures. And I don't have the site that this is Bhante Sujato's, but do have different format text. So this is Bhante Sujato. Their mind is in a good state, well developed, well risen, well freed, and well detached from sensual pleasures. They're freed from the distressing and feverish defilements that arise because of sensual pleasures, so they don't experience that kind of feeling. And then we look at the Pali here, and we had a discussion about asavas the other day. Do you want to say something about this, IA? I know
Well, I
we
wasn't,
could use the rest of the time on this, but
no, yeah, I was a nurse, so I understand that if you have a sore, if you have a boil or something like that, it's infected, and then there's discharge coming out. But there's also what can be inflow or outflow. So the infection can also go internally, and so you can actually die
yeah,
from infected wound. And this, I think, in that metaphor is why they chose this for the asawas, because not only is it externally there, that's visible or, affecting how we act in the world, but it's also internally
infecting us.
infecting us.
Yeah.
So there's the asawa of sensual pleasure and of becoming or desire for
Stop.
huh?
Desire for stop.
No, that's no, that's
That's
no,
a different.
that's a different one.
Oh,
So there's a kamasawa,
mhm,
bawasawa, which is
mhm.
for there's another word besides becoming, being,
Being.
desire to continue being, and then the wijasawa, which is ignorance.
Okay.
So that's a three.
Okay. Thank you.
And so these are what the primary three defilements that keep us in samsara. They're really specific. So you have to, these are what need to be destroyed or abandoned or evaporated
Yes, thank you.
before
Disinfected.
disinfected. Yeah. And it's, oh, yeah, we were also talking about, what I used to care for people that had bed sores.
Yeah.
And you have to, the poor person, you have to like lay them on their side or whatever and expose the wound, and you put a heat lamp on it. They get UV light, you clean it, you measure it, you inspect it carefully.
Mhm.
I mean, this might sound gross to some people, but this is how you care for the wound. So it's like
You're
really
attending.
you're attending to it, and then you're cleaning it, and you're seeing how it's healing. You're looking at then there's the signs of healing, and you get,
Mhm.
the nurses like it just turned around, and you can see this, it's starting to heal, and you can see that it's, the skin is growing in, and it's very exciting that the body can care for itself in this way if you care for it.
Yeah.
If you look, you can attend to it. So it's kind of like you see these defilements in ourselves, and instead of just going, oh, repulse, this is terrible, I shouldn't. And this way, the escape wouldn't be from like pushing it away or trying to run away from it, but
Just put a Band-Aid over it and
put,
keep lying on it.
yeah, something like that. You want to be aware. You want to take care. You're doing the cleaning and the exposure, the metaphor of being exposed to the light too. I mean, you're really, that awareness, that light of awareness helps with the whole healing process.
Mhm. They
So
they say that I mean, Ajahn Chah at the end of his life, I think, was pretty close to bedridden for the last 10 years of his life, if I'm remembering right.
yeah, I think so. He had a stroke, and then he was attended to. They kept him alive.
They kept him alive, and
Just
he wasn't speaking, but his attendants did such a good job of care that one of the things, I spoke with one of the attendants, he said, one of the things that we realized was in 10 years, he never had a bed sore. So that quality of care of,
he always had two or three people attending to.
yeah, they were teams of four, if I remember right. And so there was always one or two on duty.
Two of them, like two and
Yeah, two
two.
on shift, two off,
Yeah,
and they would get 3-month stints. I may not be remembering exact
yeah.
details.
Arjun
But
Pastor
just,
spoke about doing that.
yeah, inspiring.
Yeah, so caring for yourself in that way, yeah, exposing it, yeah, but being aware of it, putting your light of awareness when you see these defilements,
Mhm.
um, and
Don't let, don't let them
cleaning,
superate.
cleaning them out. Cleaning them out would be, oh, I can abandon this. But it's like we have to be attentive because it's not like it's just going to go away with,
Right,
easily.
right.
We have to attend to it.
So what is it when you have such a sore? It's troublesome and afflictive, annoying and uncomfortable. I think we can probably all agree on that. And then I had a little difficulty with the way that it was talked about of he does not feel that kind of feeling, or they don't feel that kind of feeling. And so looking at, I want to, the Vedana, so that's the noun part of it. That's that felt experience, whatever the feeling tone is. And we tend to say that's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. But Vediyati is the noun. It's the actual experiencing of
Mhm.
it. So I was saying that let's equate they don't experience that kind of feeling with, so they don't experience that feeling tone, referring back to distress of what's troublesome and afflictive. Just this sutta is so terse in its, I'm just adding some expansion in so that we're really clear what is the feeling tone that we're talking about, um, not experiencing because we put good attention on it.
I could even with this one, they're freed from the distressing, feverish defilements that arise because of pleasant feeling. They're freed from that
Yes,
distressing, so they don't experience that kind of feeling, which would be the distressing.
yes, yes.
Because if, well, initially it's pleasant, but then there's the tanha,
Yeah,
that's which is the
mhm.
grasping, the craving, and that's unpleasant. And
Yes, yes,
that's what
exactly.
drives us to go seeking what's pleasurable.
Even if it's a temporary pleasure of a, I don't know,
Ice cream cone.
ice cream cone, which being lactose intolerant would then be unpleasant.
But yeah, I remember as a kid getting the ice cream cone, eating it, and then it was like 5 minutes later, it's gone. There's all this anticipation. You walk a half a mile, you
Mhm.
have your pennies saved up, you buy the ice cream cone, and it's gone in 5 minutes.
Yep,
It's like,
yep.
anyway,
All right. So we spent a lot of time on the first one to kind of unpack the pattern, and then the other, four, we won't go through the poly again, but it's the same patterning. So the second one, again, when a practitioner is attending to ill will, their mind does not launch out upon it and become placid, settled, and focused on it. But when they are attending to goodwill, their mind launches out upon it and becomes placid, settled, and focused on it. Their mind is well departed, well developed, well emerged, well liberated, and well detached from ill will. And they are freed from those taints, distressful and feverish, that arise when ill will, with ill will as conditioned. They do not feel that kind of feeling. This is declared to be the escape from ill will. And so vyapada is the Pali word for ill will, hatred, hostility, enmity, malevolence, going wrong. And what I wanted to point out was in the Pali, here he's saying instead they tend to goodwill. I do want to point out that the word is abhyapada, so it's just got that A in front, which means a negation of. So it's literally the absence of ill will, the absence of kindness or friendliness. And why I think it's important to remember, I do think it's good to focus toward goodwill. I'm not dissing goodwill by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh.
But I'd like to point out that really it's that they're attending, you can also attend to the absence of ill will. Now, in a mind that's spacious and free, knowing the absence of it is sometimes enough and even more peaceful than attending to the goodwill. So just as a deeper step in your meditation practice, just the absence of ill will, and then let it go and settle and still.
Yeah, I think there's stages and also a different outcome. So there's the seeing the ill will, and there's the abandoning the ill will, which should be the absence of the ill will.
Right.
And so then you can stay with that equanimity that arises. But in the sutras, they talk about the mendicant that's gone to the root of the tree, and they've abandoned the ill will, and they bring up loving kindness. So they bring up the goodwill towards. So there's a difference in the heart. When I see a living being, hatred towards it, I could just be indifferent, or I could, have this love. And so there's different qualities of which, and at different times too, it's important that, the equanimity may be what is needed at this point. And like you're saying, that's a much more settled and pure state. But
I definitely suggest getting to that equanimity through goodwill, because then the tonality of the heart is, one of the phrases I used to use for equanimity practice was, I remain lovingly undisturbed by the changing conditions of passing reality. Lovingly undisturbed.
that's good. Yeah. So that's a difference. I mean, you don't want to become indifferent.
Right.
You just abandon
Right.
hatred, and then you become indifferent.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah. So the equanimity. So then there's that balance. So for the most part, we still have the irritation, we still have the dislike, we still have, and then we're aware of it. And then if we're simultaneously cultivating loving kindness, then that will influence and balance out the agitation and aversion. And then they can let go, then both of them can settle.
Yes.
The
And
mind can settle into a pure equanimity rather than something that's just kind of shoving down
right, which is not
the
ultimately
unwholesome qualities.
right.
So,
That's just putting them, under the bed, and they will still reach out and grab you later.
or just putting a banding over it without
over.
cleaning it and
Yes. Yes.
lying on it still.
Yeah, and you may remember from last week, or you could look at the notes, that last week when we were looking at ill will, it was directly saying cultivate metta. So I was just pointing out that that overlaps, but it's also slightly different here because it's not bringing in the term metta, it's saying the absence of ill will. All right.
Well, yeah, let's translate it as goodwill and kindness and friendliness. It's translations of it. I think it's understood.
Yeah, it is, and it's a structure of that language.
Yeah.
Bhante Sujato translates this set on ill will. Take another case where a practitioner focuses on ill will, but their mind does not leap forth. But when they focus on goodwill, their mind leaps forth. Their mind is in a good state, well detached from ill will. They're freed from the distressing and feverish defilements that arise because of ill will, so they don't experience that kind of feeling. This is how the escape from ill will is explained. Continue on to harming or anything?
Yeah, maybe we should
Yeah,
because of time.
because of time. Okay. Shall I keep reading?
Let's not continue too harming though.
Absolutely. Non-harming. We'll continue to non-harming. Again, When a bhikkhuni is attending to harming, her mind does not launch out upon it and become placid, settled, and focused on it. But when she is attending to non-harming, her mind launches out upon it and becomes placid, settled, and focused on it. Her mind is well departed, well developed, well emerged, well liberated, and well detached from harming. And she is freed from those taints, distressful and feverish, that arise with harming. And the vihesa is, when we're talking about harming, it's also this level of irritation, annoyance, trouble, cruelty, viciousness, brutality. So it's got quite a range that this sense of harming can be.
The whole package could go together.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed, and then I'm cruel, and then I'm
Brutal.
and then, yeah, and it occurs to me too, like this attending to non-harming, and sometimes there's a bee or something that gets in to the inside, and then I'm trying to be as kind as possible to remove the insect and not harm it at all. So I'm like, but my attention really is on to very carefully remove the insect. Or we could think about speech too. And how do I speak to this person to do? I need to say something that I'd rather not, but I have to. So how can I approach them in a way that's causing the least harm, but also conveying what I need to say? And so I think there is so that's being compassionate. I've heard that's non-harming translated as compassion.
Yes. And
so the opposite from harming is compassion.
And that was in last week's sutta,
Oh,
exactly
okay,
that way. You
okay,
are spot
okay,
on.
okay, all right.
So last week's had
Yeah.
harming in it, and the antidote was compassion.
Okay.
See, you know your suttas.
Yeah.
Bhante Sujato says, take another case when a mendicant focuses on harming, but their mind does not leap forth. But when they focus on compassion, and so he did use compassion as the opposite, their mind leaps forth. Their mind is in a good state, well detached from harming. They're freed from the distressing and feverish defilements that arise because of harming, so they don't experience that kind of feeling. This is how the escape from harming is explained. Oh dear, now we're getting into a whole nother realm. In the interest of time, yes.
We should probably go through, yeah,
So
tending to form.
Again, when someone is attending to form, their mind does not launch out upon it and become placid, settled, and focused on it. But when they attend to the formless, their mind launches out upon it and becomes placid, settled, and focused on it. Their mind is well departed, well developed, well emerged, well liberated, and well detached from form. And they are freed from those taints, distressful and feverish, that arise with form as condition. They do not feel that kind of feeling. This is declared to be the escape from form. And this is rupa, the physicality, the materiality. It can also be referring to the body. And arupa would be the immaterial forms. So commentarial, they're talking about going from the rupa jhanas into the formless states. So this is one way of looking at this section of the sutta.
You can also, the whole sutta could be thought of as a meditative process, because
yes,
you have to be detached from sensuality to enter the jhanas.
Yes.
And you have to be, all the defilements have to be at least in abeyance in order to enter any of the excuse me, immersions, the jhanas.
Yes, so this is seemingly simple sutta really is like going through, and we'll see into the next one.
Yeah, so I think it's at different levels. You can take it
Yes.
on just an emotional level,
Mhm,
and then you can take it with how it impacts your meditation.
mhm.
And so this is clearly talking about meditative states here.
Right. I'll read Bhante Sujatos and go right on to the next one. Take another case where a mendicant focuses on form, but their mind does not leap forth. But when they focus on the formless, their mind leaps forth. Their mind is in a good state, well detached from forms. They're freed from the distressing and feverish defilements that arise because of form. So they don't experience that kind of feeling. This is how the escape from form is explained. And this kind of is that sentence I use in meditation, could this be more peaceful? And I don't necessarily verbalize it. It's just what could drop away now. Okay. And number 5, again, when we practice attending to personal existence, our mind does not launch out upon it and become placid, settled, and focused on it. But when we attend to the cessation of personal existence, our mind launches out upon it and becomes placid, settled, and focused on it. Our mind is well departed, well developed, well emerged, well liberated, and well detached from personal existence. And we are freed from those taints, distressful and feverish, that arise with personal existence as conditioned. We do not feel that feeling. This is declared to be the escape from personal existence. And this one deserves a few minutes.
Yeah, the Sakaya. Some people know the word Sakaya Ditti,
Mhm.
and that is one of the defilements that are, or the fetters,
Fetters.
one of the fetters that are broken upon stream entry, because they don't see an individual self that's dependent on the khandhas. That's they don't identify as the khandhas as self, the aggregates, the body, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. So this is a Sakaya having to do with the sense of self, which personal existence, owner of the body. See, and the body is like as a child, when I think of the body as me very, very strongly. This is a very strong identity. And even teenagers, oh, I'm so ugly, or oh, I'm so beautiful, or oh, I'm so strong. And it's all about the body. And intellect is kind of, oh, I guess so. Till a certain point. I don't
Right.
know.
And what's valuable here is we don't have a Sakaya. We don't have the absence of. Here, instead, they've got the full word Sakaya Nirodha. And Nirodha is a cessation, an ending, a termination of. And so this is the ending of the idea I am. There's the ending of the idea, there is me in this. And that is, so as you can see, we've really hit a deep insight from the meditation at this point. Shall I continue so we have time?
Sure.
Take a case where a mendicant focuses on substantial reality, and that doesn't quite get at it for me. I think there's an article on that I want to go look at for Bhante Sujata, why he translated Sakaya as substantial reality.
Because of body?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it makes it confusing when it's just translated as, just a single word.
Right, right.
So,
although I feel like there is an accuracy in it, it loses its direction for me.
it makes sense to him.
Yes, take a case where a mendicant focuses on substantial reality, but their mind does not leap forth, gain confidence, settle down, and become decided. But when they focus on the cessation of substantial reality, their mind leaps forth, gains confidence, settles down, and becomes decided. Their mind is in a good state, well developed, well risen, well freed, and well detached from substantial reality. They're freed from the distressing and feverish defilements that arise because of substantial reality. So they don't experience that kind of feeling. This is how the escape from substantial reality is explained. And then we get to the closure of the sutta. Delight in sensual pleasures does not lie within them. Delight in ill will does not lie within him. Delight in harming does not lie within her. Delight in form does not lie within Faye. Delight in personal experience does not lie within us, because we are without the underlying tendencies toward delight in sensual pleasures, delight in ill will, delight in harming, delight in form, and delight in personal existence. We are called a practitioner devoid of underlying tendencies.
So now with the Anusayas. Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. Oops.
yeah. So you can see this is going
Okay, yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
And they cut off craving, stripped of the fetter, and by completely breaking through conceit, one has made an end of suffering.
Sadhu.
These are the 5 elements of escape. And then I'll just look at the Pali here. I just wanted to point out that within each of these is this nandi, this delighting, this relishing in, this gladness found from there.
But I think that's where the attachment, the nandi, is what the delighting in this and that, the tanha arises.
But that's a different here.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they've
yeah. So they're saying
abandoned
they're
there's abandoning
they're abandoning
that.
all of these cue, I want.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, so not only have they abandoned self-clinging, that's also the tanha,
Yeah,
which is,
all the grabbing after that comes about from these characteristics. So Bhante Sujato, delight in sensual pleasures, ill will, harming form, and substantial reality don't linger within them.
oh, did I?
That's all right. That's why they're called a mendicant who is without underlying tendencies, who has cut off craving, cast off the fetters, and by rightly comprehending conceit, has made an end of suffering.
Sadhu.
These are the 5 elements of escape.
Sadhu. Well done.
Oh,
Bravo.
bravo.
So,
Stop.
so
Yeah.
we can go to a gallery view, stop the screen share.
Yeah.
And gallery. So this was another rollick through different realms.
Yeah.
If you can consider all the meditative realms. So does anyone have a comment or question? We covered a lot of territory.
I had thought to do 2 suttas today, and I assumed John is like, oh, 1 is enough.
No, when we started discussing this
Yeah.
yesterday, I said, I think we'll just get through this one.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the more to come next week.
More to come.
More elements of escape.
So have you all escaped?
Are we all free? No. To a certain extent, hopefully, we are starting to get liberated. And Nora has a hand up.
Hello, Ayas.
Uh,
I wanted to say that one thing that I appreciated in this was the stages of from okay, it's going to be hard to pull up the words. You know, having the sense pleasure to having the sense pleasure but not acting on it.
Yes.
And then the next step of not even having it, but that in between, that intermediate one, like I just appreciate that so much. That because when I look at my mind, like I have a personal example right now, like there's somebody I really want to kind of gossip about,
mm,
just to be totally honest. And
mhm.
but I know, so it's like, it's ill will. It's like my own ego is a little hurt a little bit. And, uh, like this is old stuff. But so I can see it. I can see the ill will or the sense or whatever, but I can choose not to act out on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The uncomfortable place of like, ugh, feel so ucky. So I don't know if you have anything to say about being there in that place, because I really want to talk.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think this is,
true confessions
no,
of
this is
a
wonderful. No,
non-liberated
this is
person.
wonderful. I think
Human.
it's, no, but I think the fact that you're seeing it, it's just like that would, like when we were exposing the person's wound, it's not a pleasant thing, but this is how the person is healed. Or if you have a wound yourself and you're attending to it and you're looking at it, it's not necessarily pleasant. Yesterday, we had some food, and the person had offered this. Anyway, it's a long story short. Oh, the person's here actually. Uh, so that reminded me of the cookies that they brought, because we got some food from the freezer, and they always would bring cookies, and so we had leftovers from the freezer, and then I found myself craving cookies. We didn't have any cookies in the cupboard, but I saw the craving, that just this really strong desire, and I thought, well, if there were cookies in the cupboard, I'd probably leap up and get them. And then, but I was just aware of this uncomfortable feeling of desire. So the uncomfortable feeling of desire to say something, there's some kind of relishing in saying something vicious about somebody else, or gossiping, or putting them down, and this is harmful speech. And so, and then just for me to be desiring something, but I was just sitting there being aware of this really, it was really strong. It was strange. I mean, not strange, but I could see how, yeah, people overeat and do all kinds of things because of this really strong impulse, but we don't have to act on it.
Mhm.
But I was just joking around with
Yeah,
Aṅguttara
yeah.
about it.
It's nice to live in a monastery where you can go, whoa.
But I was joking about the
Yeah,
cookies,
yeah.
wanting the cookies.
Yeah,
So yeah, so that it is like a cookie, the gossiping, I think,
yeah.
because there's some kind of relishing in uh yeah, I don't know,
Sounds more like a chutney.
huh?
Sounds more like a chutney.
A chutney or something like that. Yeah. So I think that's really important. If you can't restrain yourself from doing something that's harmful, then, or that's the guardrail. There's the reflectors and the railing and everything like that, and you see it, and I'm not going to drive my car through that because that's danger. So you restrained yourself, but it's still like,
Out.
oh, but it's a little bit different than that, because it's just like, maybe it's like the horse that has there's a fence, and then the horse wants the barley on the other side. And if the horse gets over the fence and gets on the other side, that horse and the owner would get into a lot of trouble, right? There's that. So you managed to put up a protection as well, but you're also feeling that wanting to leap the fence kind of thing. I don't
Yep. We can really feel it in our bodies when we're got that pull. It is that, just what it was, distressful and annoying and all of those terms that we saw in the sutta. That's exactly it. And we can read in the sutta that, and there is a freedom that comes as we continue. The practice is worthwhile.
Sorry. Anyone else have a question or comment?
Kind of going off of what Nora said, I just appreciated that the sutta doesn't automatically assume that we are all there already. You know,
Yeah.
that it says like when they have ill will, you know, it talks a little bit, but then when they don't have ill will, and it expounds upon that. So I think it shows that there's room for growth, and that, you know, yes, I think if you're a bhikkhuni or bhikkhu, like you're probably seeing yourself veer to the, you know, the non, what's the word? Like non-wisdom side of these two more often, but you know, the path has been trod a little bit better towards like the wisdom aspect, and like, but those of us who maybe haven't been on the path as long or haven't taken strict vows, like I like that this sutta just gives us room to be human still, like, and not
Right.
assume that we're, you know, like, because sometimes it can feel like there isn't that room for growth, like that we're expected to already be there, which isn't the expectation, I'm sure,
Right.
but yeah.
So harken back to last week's sutta where we went through all to make it a vehicle, a basis to cultivate, to nurture, and it had a long list of not saying, oh yeah, you see ill will and then you're done.
Right.
It's oh, and now we need to really cultivate
Yeah.
metta in order to, and how do we cultivate? We have to really make it a basis throughout the day.
Right.
Oh, and of course, being in robes, we're like really more and more and more consistent with it because it's always up for us. But that's the same for you,
Yeah.
is that you make it your vehicle, you make it the basis, you nurture it. And it's definitely heartening to see these suttas and see it is a developmental path that unfolds.
Yeah.
Yes. And I didn't mean to insinuate that the Buddha expected us all to just be perfect right away, because he knew we weren't.
Yeah.
But I really do appreciate like it, just that expounding on that it is a path, that that it does take effort, but that it does get easier, I think, with time as we build those pathways. So thank you. I appreciated this again.
And
Dana.
Dana had Dana, did you have something you wanted to say? You had
Well, you know, I have a couple of things that have been helping me win and embrace and not ignore when I have thoughts and feelings of ill will or jealousy, who knows what. All those things I really don't want to see in myself, but are there. Years ago, a friend came back after visiting her grandson, and the grandson, who was like, I don't know, 8, they were looking at his test results, and there were all these red marks. And she pointed at them, and the grandson got excited and said, oh, yes, those are all the things I still get to learn. He was very excited about the red marks. And I thought back to a teacher I was listening once, Tim Guile up in Seattle, and somebody was kind of upset about something they saw in themselves. And he said, oh, I think it's pretty exciting. You have something to work on. And so when I'm using both of these things, they probably come up every other week, is I didn't, it's so exciting to actually be able to see ill will, jealousy, hate, guilt. I mean, all that stuff, all the I've forgotten the words, defilements, that's not the right word, but to see those, yes, see those in myself, because it means I'm progressing and I have so many marvelous news to go forward with. Yeah, so it's like a mind shift from
Mhm.
oh, naughty Dana, oh, bad Dana, to oh, exciting. There's so many paths. Let me pick one. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, coming
Mhm.
back to the cookies, it was like I'm sitting there, I'm kind of laughing at myself
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
and another time I could go walk, if I had money, I could walk to the convenience store or something and get cookies.
Yes,
I would
yes,
be driven, but I was able to just sit there and be aware of this desire in myself. And like Nora was just sitting there being aware of this desire to gossip, but didn't.
yes,
So
yes,
so that we can rejoice in that
yes, yes,
we were able to just be with that.
Mhm.
yes, and choose a path that was healthier.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's very exciting. So that's one thing I seem to constantly work on because I was raised in a household, a society, a gender where um, I needed to recognize these stuff and then don't you feel guilty. So I'm getting rid of the don't you feel guilty part. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
And to be clear, Dana, cookies are not on the grocery list today.
Yeah, please.
Well, cheese and chocolate are online.
Yeah, we do have other things, yes.
Good, good.
Yeah. And I also think of those as medicine. So I just, because I was a nurse and they're
Yes,
considered medicine. And I look at the package and I see how many servings there are
Yeah.
per
yes,
package. And
yes,
a lot of people, you buy a chocolate bar and you eat it and it's 3 servings. And I'll
yes,
eat a sixth. I'll eat
Half a serving.
half a
yeah,
serving. And so it's just because I'm thinking this is medicine. It's not meant for,
Not for fun, not for pleasure.
and then
not
this
for
is what the,
yes.
the Western monks decided in Thailand was medicine. I thought it was rather kind of tricky what they did.
Thank you, guys.
Anyway, so Sarai, yes, hello.
Good morning, Aya. Sarai here. I'm at work. Yes, I just wanted to ask how to deal with jealousy. I noticed this week that I experienced some jealousy for a little bit of time. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable in my body. I
Mhm.
felt bad afterwards, but I noticed it like for 30 minutes. And this was in regards to the safety in the United States. As a person of color, it's really unsafe. I wasn't born here. So the jealousy was in regards to that, like, darn it, I wish I could be white. I wish I was born here so I wouldn't have to deal with this craziness.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, sorry, very sorry. Yeah, I think there is a word mudita, which is altruistic joy, which is rejoicing in other people's goodness and fortune. In the case of that, it's a little bit more difficult because this is like the oppression that's been enforced by our social system that many of us are not agreeing to. My mother was an immigrant, and I don't know if I would be here if they had that kind of ruling that's happening now. So to care for yourself, I think, to feel, I think there's different levels of emotion in a person, and then this anger or resentment. I think it may be more rather than jealousy, it's more like resentment. resenting that I don't have the same privileges as other people that are born here
With light skin.
with light skin.
Yeah.
Even people, I've heard of people who were born here many generations because of their color and because their family
Mm-hmm.
are Spanish speaking or whatever, you know, so they might have a little bit of an accent, although most of them by the several generations, no accent at all. I don't have an accent, but just recognize, I think the fact that you were just there with the feeling, that uncomfortable feeling of resentment or jealousy or longing to be things to be different. There's the dukkha tanha is wanting, so we want things to be different. So this is a form of dukkha that you're experiencing. So you can look at it. This is samsara. This is a sad state of samsara in this country, that there's this oppression that's showing its ugly head again. And how do I care for myself in this? This is dukkha. And I see the dukkha from wanting things to be different than they are.
Mhm.
And just know that there's a lot of people in this country that are that we don't agree with the policies of this administration at all. We also hope that we don't suffer in the same way
Yeah.
as you, but we have anukampa. Our hearts are resonating with people who
Mhm.
are in the same situation or similar situation as you. So
And
did you have something
yeah,
to add to that?
last week, I think you were here also last week, and so this falls, as I was saying, things different than they are. It falls under that area of discontent, and how the antidote is the rejoicing. And the rejoicing is not a displacement. So we are not saying we are going to be content with this
No.
unhealthy
It's true.
system of oppression.
Yeah.
We are not saying we're going to be content with oppression. What we're saying is we're going to be content in spite of oppression. So within the samsaric system, it is like this. And I will not be shaken by the conditions of that reality. We still do make practices, have good neighbors who protect you, who, you know, we set up alternate systems that are systems of care to be able to address the systemic problem. But internally, we're working with things like rejoicing in order to build a heart that's steady in spite of what is not going in a wholesome way in the world.
So I think there's steps.
There are steps.
The steps, like the steps to see the dukkha. And I think where you're using, if you can use the wisdom to see this is dukkha, this is because I want things to be different than they are. This is the tanha, is wanting things to be a different way. And so, and just acknowledge that. And then the equanimity can arise from that really, you know, seeing that suffering, and then seeing the cause of it, and then can I let go, understanding this is samsara. If there's something I could do personally to change it, I would.
Yeah.
I would, but I can't. I can't.
And we do what we can by being an example of a different mode of being.
So I can change, what I can change is my attitudes, or see my limitations, or my, try to contribute in a positive way to help other people feel safe, to feel welcomed.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then there's the other step of the contentment and rejoicing of what we have, we actually have.
Mhm.
And we have the Dhamma and we have each other. And Siley has a hand.
Yay.
Thank you, Ayas.
You're welcome. I saw Siley's hand. Yeah, there you go.
Let's see if I can be seen. Okay. Yeah, I also wanted to respond just what came up for me to that question of jealousy. And the thing that came to my mind is the people who create these laws, or people who feel that way, that are afraid of people who are different, who look different, of different culture, or they have aversion. They are also suffering. Otherwise, because aversion is suffering, fear is suffering. So if we are able to look at a broader picture, in that we all are kind of in the same boat of wrong view or wrong understanding, which is normal, um, until we cultivate and practice a lot. But we 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 are in the same boat of wanting to change the external world in order to be happy. We think if we do this, if we control that, if everyone is like us, if everyone thinks the same way we do, or then the world will be a better place. There'll be more harmony. There'll be what we want. It's the same. It's the same thing that's happening, which is attachment to self and attachment to what we want or we think is good. Uh, so this, so we are also able to see the suffering in all others as well. So we can develop compassion for everyone. We're all in this boat of the samsara of suffering, and it takes time. Just as it takes us time to have this right understanding of letting go of self. Like you said, there's different levels, but ultimately, when we understand that there is no self, then nothing matters. Nothing can make us suffer. And everything is just causes and conditions. So everything that we experience now is due to causes and conditions. And all of us have experiences in different ways. All of us have these experiences of suffering, of things that don't go our way, or that could be easier or better. Someone might grow up very rich but have very um, unsupportive parents, or we all have our struggles in some ways. So to have compassion for each other in this, and know that we're not alone in our suffering, and everything is due to causes and conditions, and then uh, that same compassion we give to ourselves and other people is very important. And then also to create good conditions here and now. So if we are rolling in a mind of jealousy, like if we allow our minds to grasp onto it and then not let it go, we are suffering more, and it is more likely to arise again in the future. So that's why the sutta is great, is to see the difference. So we are practicing, yes, these things will arise because we still have these things in us. This is normal. But when we see the peace of letting go, then we can choose wisely. When we see, oh, this jealousy brings us suffering, it's not nice, and we are able to see the absence of jealousy and feel that as a good feeling. We can't, especially the things that we can't change, but we can change where we put our attention, and with right understanding and wisdom to allow the good feeling to grow in us, and the
Yeah.
peace and the letting go and the renunciation, and when you do that, then it becomes easier and easier to do that. If you don't do that, if you don't practice in this way, at least make an effort and try, like you are very, very clear you are doing. You're aware of the sensations in your body. You're aware of the jealousy. You're aware of the suffering. So you're practicing in the right way. And then also being able to let go and feeling the peace of letting go in this moment. Don't worry about future moments, but in this moment, you let it go, you feel the peace. And if you can do that as much as you can, as much as it arises, that will create a force on its own where it arises more easily in the future. But if you get into a bad habit of always getting stuck in the jealousy, then that is more likely to arise again in the future as well. So yeah, just to like, not suffering is great. That's what I liked about this sutta, is that yeah, happiness is good.
And you're in South Africa, so you have seen historically. Sorry, did
Why is understanding and why is attention?
The signals.
Do that and let we suffer, no matter what irritation or whatever it is.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
We are way over time.
We're,
but
I
this is
noticed that too.
lovely.
No, we're having our after party.
We're having our after party on
live. Yeah, so this is really
Very
important.
rich.
I think that we can share, even though it's painful, like things that we're not necessarily would be proud to share about,
but
that we can
so
talk about it.
human.
But this is human, and this is how we heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like in South Africa, it became a movement that did create change. Not all of that, some of that was still violent, but there was also a real intention within aspects of the society. If you read Nelson Mandela's writing, just what it is to be in prison does that have to be internal as well as external? And I think that gets at that quality. And then you're much more resourced to actually respond in the world. So rich, so rich. Sorry.
Really quick, talking about that, I had talked to Ajahn Nisapo and Ajahn Kobilo in regards to this topic, and talking about the worst case scenario, like being without freedom. It's like there is no fear in my body because I have the Dhamma, because I have the chantings, because I know how to meditate now. So there is no fear. I think, and even I got myself, like, we did a metta practice, and the first thing that came, it was sending metta to the people inflicting this suffering. Not just to the people receiving that, but the people inflicting, because like Bada Nyani said, yeah, they are suffering, they are humans, and they don't know what they are doing, and they are just people with wounds who are not aware of what is happening. So hopefully, and what I pray when I meditate and when I chant, I send that loving kindness to them. So hopefully they can be aware that this is not right.
And to yourself, start with yourself.
Yeah. Well,
it's really important.
Do you want to mention Simile the Saw before we that aspect of, because that's what I hear is happening, is that, and starting with them.
Oh well, but it starts out. My mind will become my mind will remain unaffected. So we start out with the baseline of equanimity. And I will utter no evil words. And this is, I was thinking also internally, when things happen, that internally I won't be brewing up some hostility. And starting with them, I will pervade the all-encompassing world with a heart of loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, free from hostility, free from ill will. But what I thought about this when starting with them, I was just thinking that it starts with them, but it goes outwards. It doesn't stop there. So it's like they're kind of a conduit through which that it's like
goodness,
you
yeah.
pour it through them. So it's not like you're focusing on them particularly. But it has to come from your heart. Your heart has to be already filled with this metta.
Yeah.
So I think for that practice to really to be effective, that we have to work with the metta towards ourselves and see any kind of dislike we have for ourselves, or, it's so subtle. It can be so subtle. And just that heal that wound first. I mean, it's good. It's good to think about that. I mean, to do that practice of towards the people that so-called the hostile people, or the, the difficult people. So we can do that practice, but I think to do that internal work is really essential.
I absolutely agree.
And maybe separately from that, just really spend some time doing that. Love for oneself. And it's hard. I know, raised Catholic, raised by a Latin American mother, you're not supposed to have a good regard for yourself as a woman, as a female. So I had to overcome all that negative conditioning. But yeah, so caring for oneself and then we can care for others. But I don't know if that's what.
Yeah, that's absolutely, you took it even more full. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, but I think the idea of with them and then going outwards towards all beings.
So beautiful.
Those who are difficult, but we don't just stop there. We go, it expands outwards to all beings. That's anyway how I took it at one point, and it seems to help me be helpful.
Sadhu.
So we've already kind of had our after party,
Shall
unless
we-
there's some burning last word or so. We can close with the
Yeah, completely agree.
with the homage to the triple gem, the Buddha who brought us this wonderful teaching. Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasam Supatipanno Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Okay, thank you all. Have a good week.
Thanks, Ayas.